All right, guys, here we go. We got Rocket Labs. It's sitting at 143.48. It's down about 3.07% over the course of, it would have been Friday. In the after hours, it's down about 0.86%. I'm recording this on Sunday night, about midnight. So over the last 5 days, it's down 4.89%. Over the last month, it is up 82.06%. Over the last 6 months, it's up 255.41%. Year to date, it's up 105.68%. On a 1-year chart, it is up 439.4%. On a 5-year chart, it is up 1,313.6%. And on a maximum chart, this goes back to November 27th, 2020. It is up 1,361.1%. That is Rocket Labs, ticker symbol RKLB. So with the big SpaceX IPO coming, figured we'd check out Rocket Labs here. So here we go. They got a 52-week high of $151. They got a 52-week low of $25.24. They got a market cap of $83.06 billion. And they have a negative EPS of negative 33 cents. They also have about 578.87 million shares outstanding and about 3,000 employees. So that's pretty cool. Let's check out their overview here. So, oh, actually, no. Sorry. Let's go to their earnings. So, they last reported on May 7th, 2026. They got a 58.2% beat. So, they were predicted to get 0.04 cents. They got, or negative 0.04 cents. They got a negative EPS. Now, and they got a negative 0.02 cent EPS. Okay. So on revenue, they also beat by 5.77%. They were predicted to get $189.41 million. They got $200.35 million. All right. So we'll read the, no, we won't. We're going to go down and see when in the last time that they missed on the earnings or revenue. So Q2 2025, they missed by 2.19%, but like we say, they beat by 58% here, 10% there, 66% here, 17%, 18%, 13%, 29%, 25%. Then they missed again on EPS by 4.51% in Q4 of 2023. They missed on revenue back in Q2 of 2024 by 0.98%. And then they missed on Q1 by 2.35% and Q4 of 2023 by 1.99%. And that would have been the last time that they missed. So in Q4 of 2023, they missed on both revenue and EPS. So they've been missing sometimes, but you know, who knows what to make of that. So at a glance, record revenue and narrowing losses. Rocket Lab reported record Q1 2026 revenue of $200.35 million, beating expectations of $189.41 million while reporting an adjusted EPS of dead even, compared to an estimated loss of 0.039 cents. Bullish guidance and backlog expansion. The company raised Q2 2026 revenue guidance to a midpoint of $232.5 million, significantly above analyst estimates, supported by a record $2.2 billion backlog that has more than doubled year over year. Strong market reaction to results. Shares surged 34.2% in the session following the announcement as investors reacted positively to the double beat, improved liquidity over $2 billion, and narrowing EBITDA losses. All right. Diversified segment performance and margins. Space Systems drove the majority of revenue with $136.7 million, while the company achieved a record GAAP gross margin of 38.2% and a non-GAAP gross margin of 43%. Neutron development gains commercial momentum. Rocket Lab signed 5 new dedicated Neutron launch contracts at standard commercial pricing during the quarter, with the maiden flight still targeted for the end of 2026. Strategic acquisitions and fuel growth. Vertical integration efforts were bolstered by the closure of the Maineric acquisition and an agreement to acquire Motive, enhancing the company's end-to-end space technology capabilities. Rocket Lab surged recently following record-breaking financial results in major defense contracts. Analysts project continued scaling as the company transitions from a startup to an enterprise-level space platform. Sentiment suggests a bullish outlook for next quarter, grounded by a record $2.2 billion backlog, despite risks associated with the high-stakes Neutron rocket debut. Record financial performance and growth. Rocket Lab reported its first $200 million quarter in Q1 2026, marking a 63.5% year-over-year revenue increase. The company surpassed analyst estimates on both the top and bottom lines with a record backlog of approximately $2.2 billion that provides high revenue visibility through 2029. Major strategic defense contracts. In May 2026, the company secured a $90 million U.S. Space Force contract to build and operate 2 geostationary satellites. This marks Rocket Lab's first prime satellite production program for geostationary orbit, showcasing its successful evolution into a vertically integrated space systems provider. Strong institutional accumulation. Institutional ownership remains high at approximately 71.8%, with major players like Vanguard and UBS significantly increasing their stakes. This accumulation reflects growing confidence in Rocket Lab's role as the primary public alternative to SpaceX ahead of the latter's potential IPO. The bearish view. Neutron development delays and costs. The maiden launch of the medium-lift Neutron rocket has been delayed to at least late 2026 following a propellant tank failure during testing. Development costs have escalated to approximately $360 million from initial estimates of $250 million to $300 million. Projected margin compression. For Q2 2026, management warned of potential margin compression due to product mix shifts. GAAP gross margins are projected to decline to between 33% and 35%, down from 38.2% in Q1 as the company ramps up spending for business expansion. Valuation and profitability risks. Despite record revenues, the company remains unprofitable, reporting a net loss of approximately $45 million in the most recent quarter. Some analysts express caution regarding the current valuation following a massive year-to-date share price run of over 400%. Alright, this is an article by The Motley Fool. This is Katie Hogan. Could buying Rocket Lab stock today set you up for life? This is according to Katie Hogan, not your cousin Dustin. Rocket Lab is more than ready for the space industry's takeoff. The small satellite launch business and SpaceX rival is now one of the most compelling growth stocks. The company's stock has soared by more than 450% over the past 12 months. As of this writing, Rocket Lab is firing on all cylinders. But how much growth could be left for a stock that has shot up so much so fast? For investors who see a future beyond the reaches of Earth's gravity, the day is still young for this otherworldly stock. Launching toward profitability. Rocket Lab posted its strongest quarter ever in Q1 of 2026, with revenue reaching $200 million. This 63.5% year-over-year increase is an impressive growth rate for a company that did slightly more than $600 million in total revenue last year. The company has been consistent in its launches and growth each of the last several quarters. While it still had a net loss of $45 million in the most recent quarter, the losses seem to be narrowing and margins are improving. Rocket Lab's backlog more than doubled from the previous year and now exceeds $2 billion. Impressively, it's estimated 36% of the backlog will convert to revenue within the next year. Executing consistently on the backlog will provide both short and intermediate term revenue for Rocket Lab. All systems go. The company has a dual business model between its launch services and space systems. Part of Rocket Lab's expansion is the successful launch of its Neutron rocket, a medium-lift, reusable vessel. Its maiden flight is targeted for the end of 2026. If it is successful in its mission, the company's potential market and applications will expand significantly. However, any issues or setbacks could be detrimental. Investors should keep a close eye on Neutron's progress. Rocket Lab has also made some recent acquisitions that move the company closer to its full potential as an end-to-end space infrastructure business. Riding the SpaceX wave. In addition to the upcoming SpaceX IPO, which is bringing immense enthusiasm and capital into the space industry, Rocket Lab has significant potential revenue streams. It's a launch company with a proven track record thus far, which is an important competitive advantage. There will inevitably be significant hype around Rocket Lab in the coming weeks and months, given its proximity to SpaceX. Investors should look well beyond these short-term headlines. Rocket Lab is a company on the rise, but there are still plenty of risks, particularly with the heavy capex spending that this type of business necessitates. Share dilution and quarterly losses are factors investors should also consider. The best way to decide whether or not to invest in Rocket Lab is to look well beyond the horizon. If the company can continue to execute as it has been, it will grow into a leading space infrastructure provider. Don't get caught up in the IPO hysteria. Instead, choose Rocket Lab for its long-term prospects and consistent performance. Alright, that's it. That's the Motley Fool. That's according to Katie Hogan. So, let's do this. Rocket Lab CEO, there he is, Peter Beck. Okay, Sir Peter Beck. Sir Peter Joseph Beck is a New Zealand engineer, entrepreneur, and founder of Rocket Lab, a leading aerospace company known for the Electron rocket and small satellite launch services. A self-taught engineer with no university degree, Beck grew Rocket Lab from its 2006 founding into a global player in reusable rocket technology, satellite manufacturing, and interplanetary missions. Knighted in 2024, he champions innovation, STEM outreach, and making space more accessible. This dude's 50 years old. He got about a $7.05 billion net worth. We got Sir Peter Joseph Beck. Interesting. How does Rocket Lab make money? Answer in one paragraph. Sorry guys, it's getting late. I'm starting to feel weird. I gotta eat something. We're gonna tough it out. So here we go. Rocket Lab generates its revenue through two primary business segments: launch services and space systems. Under its launch services, the company charges commercial, civil, and defense customers roughly $7.5 million to $8.4 million per mission to deploy small satellites into orbit using its flagship Electron rocket. However, the majority of Rocket Lab's income actually comes from its rapidly growing space systems division. Through this segment, the company operates as a full-service space contractor, designing and manufacturing individual satellite components such as solar panels, flight software, and radios, as well as building complete custom spacecraft buses for major government and commercial constellations. So, there we have it, guys. That's Rocket Lab for you. What do we think, Over the past 5 days, it's down a little bit, but over the past 5 years, it's up a lot. So, I don't know. We got the big IPO coming up of SpaceX. Rocket Lab seems like a pretty cool, interesting thing here. But this is not financial advice. This is your cousin Dustin. Like and subscribe, guys. Let me know what you think about Rocket Lab. All right.